Hey guys, Hidden Truths here. Welcome to this new video with a bunch of new stories. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers and I think we can do it with your help. So please subscribe. It would honestly mean a lot to me. Now, let's get right into the stories.
I'm Ryan Lewis. 35. Warehouse shift supervisor, husband to Tessa for 10 years, dad to Ava and Miles, 7 and 4, respectively. My life's mostly predictable, and that's not a complaint. I like the rhythm. The morning scramble to find shoes, the cereal crusted to the counter, the tiny socks under the couch. I like knowing the soccer cleats are thudding in the dryer and that the Costco freezer bag of chicken nuggets is a reliable dinner backup. Stability has always been my oxygen. So when things started to feel off, it wasn't loud. It was quiet. Soft inconsistencies. It started with a calendar notification. Tessa and I share a Google Calendar. It's not romantic, but it keeps us functional. Who's got pickup duty, dentist appointments, when we're out of town? That sort of thing. She had a work trip to Phoenix, 2 nights, leadership seminar, HR stuff. Nothing dramatic. The first thing that made me tilt my head was a small entry tagged under her name. Wellness lunch. It popped up Friday at 12:15 p.m. Nothing wrong with a wellness lunch, obviously. But I tapped it and saw it was created from her personal email account, not the work one, and the event had a location tag that didn't match the conference venue. Also, the time stamp showed it had been edited while she was supposedly in back-to-back sessions. Something about that heart emoji just hovered. Not wrong, not suspicious on its own, just out of place. Wellness lunch. With a heart. During a corporate HR training. I didn't say anything. Saturday afternoon we had a barbecue down the street at the Trent's place, burgers, kids spraying each other with water bottles, dads half watching college football. I was flipping hot dogs when our neighbor Krista strolled over holding a margarita and said, "Hey, I saw Tessa yesterday. She looked so cute, like, vacation cute." I waved at her but I think she didn't hear me. I blinked. "Yesterday, Friday?" She nodded. "Yeah, near Terminal C at the airport." "Wasn't she coming back Sunday?" "She was," I said, tossing a hot dog onto a paper plate for Miles. "Maybe she flew standby early or something." Krista didn't push it. Just laughed. "Well, she looked relaxed, I'll say that." I smiled, but I felt something settle low in my gut. Tessa was supposed to be in Phoenix until Sunday afternoon. Her suitcase had still been in the bedroom that morning, unpacked, but placed differently than she normally leaves it. She also hadn't asked me to wash her water bottle like she always does after a trip. It was little things. That morning when she came back, she had a new carry-on, a sleek hard-shell type she'd never had before. Said her old one finally died on the return flight. I didn't question it. But I noticed the new suitcase had no airline tag, nowhere on the wheels. Also, a new scent. Not wildly different, just unfamiliar. Subtle and expensive smelling. When I hugged her, she turned her face slightly away. I remember thinking, what's the cologne version of slipping on a new personality? Still, I didn't explode. I'm not that guy. I don't yell. I just started watching. Sunday night, I was doing dishes while the kids watched Bluey, and my phone pinged. It was a Gmail auto-forward. Tessa still had our shared email as her default for hotel receipts. I opened it without thinking. The message subject read, "Thank you for your stay, the Campbellton Hotel." I tapped in. 2 nights, Queen Room, downtown Phoenix. All fine. But what caught my eye was near the bottom. Room service. Friday, 8:09 a.m., breakfast for 2. Saturday, 7:56 a.m., breakfast for 2. I stood there with a dripping hand, staring at that line. I read it again, like it might change. For 2. Not an error, it was listed twice. I zoomed in on the PDF invoice, scanned for other guests. Nothing. One name on the booking, Tessa Lewis. 2 breakfasts. 2 mornings. I didn't leap to conclusions. That's not how I'm wired. But something inside me tipped. The wellness lunch, the heart emoji, the early return, the changed perfume, the mystery suitcase, the face-down phone. Now this. I dried my hands and checked the shared calendar again. Her meeting block for Friday was still marked as, Conference, DI Roundtable, 8 to 10 a.m. Same as when she left. Except now I know she was ordering breakfast for 2 at 8:09. That night I didn't say anything. I tucked Ava in, helped Miles find his favorite truck under the couch, then brushed my teeth beside the woman I'd built my whole adult life around. Tessa climbed into bed beside me. Her phone lit up once, then face down again. I stared at the ceiling. Something was happening. I just didn't know what yet. But I intended to find out. Monday morning I was up at 5, same as usual. Coffee, steel-toed boots, half a banana on the way out the door. The warehouse doesn't care about your feelings, it wants pallets stacked, trucks loaded, numbers met. I like that kind of clarity. There's no pretending a forklift means something it doesn't. But I couldn't stop thinking about that hotel receipt. The breakfasts. The wellness lunch. Tessa had kissed my cheek that morning like nothing had changed, and maybe in her mind, nothing had. But something had. I could feel it humming under the surface, like a light buzz in the drywall that you can't locate but know is there. I didn't go snooping through her phone or ask around like some kind of bad soap opera character. I wasn't interested in drama. I wanted the truth. So I looked at what was already visible. Our shared systems. Digital fingerprints, left in the open. Her Google Maps history was linked to our family tablet, and it showed a location ping in Scottsdale, nowhere near the hotel conference venue. Then a brief ride north. A rooftop bar, right around sunset. I opened our cloud photo account, she had it set to auto backup. I hadn't looked at it in weeks. First image to load, Tessa, wine glass in hand, city skyline behind her, sun going down. She looked beautiful. Relaxed. Someone else took the picture. There were no tags, no captions, no selfies. But the angle wasn't hers, and she never posted it anywhere. It just floated in our shared cloud like a lost puzzle piece. I exhaled slowly and clicked away. That night, after the kids were down and the dishwasher was running, I texted Paul. Paul's been my closest friend since high school. We were in each other's weddings. He's the kind of guy who still remembers your mom's birthday and shows up with jumper cables when your battery dies. I asked him if we could meet for a beer after work. He showed up at O'Malley's and didn't waste time. "You all right?" he asked, sliding into the booth across from me. "I think Tessa's seeing someone," I said. Just like that. He didn't flinch. He just looked down at his coaster and turned it once, slowly. Then he said, "Ryan. I wasn't sure if I should ever bring this up." I waited. "I heard something," he said finally. "From someone at her gym. Couple months ago. A guy in her department, I guess. They'd been seen together, too close. But I didn't have names, nothing hard. And I didn't want to blow up your life over a rumor." I nodded. "You were trying to protect the kids. And you," he said. "But yeah. Mostly the kids." I didn't feel angry. I felt focused. "Thanks for telling me now," I said. "That's what matters." He nodded. We talked about the Niners for a while. Avoided the rest. That night, I sat at the kitchen table and wrote a short plan. Not revenge, not retribution, just next steps. The kids come first. Stay calm. No dramatics. Document the facts. Book a consult with a counselor. Set boundaries when I know more. Tessa came in around 11, said her girls' night had run late. She smelled like that new perfume again. Her hair was windblown, fresh, like someone had touched it. She kissed me on the forehead. "You're up late," she murmured, brushing past. I was. But I wasn't waiting for her. I was waiting for clarity. Tuesday morning, I made lunches for Ava and Miles while Tessa was in the shower. I gave Ava her braided headband and packed extra carrots for Miles because he always trades them for cookies. Normal things. Gentle, domestic repetitions. After drop-off, I opened the rideshare account we share for airport runs and date nights. Nothing recent. But then I noticed her personal card was added recently. A second account, not linked to the family one. Another small shift. I went for a walk, just around the block. I wasn't trying to catch her. I was watching the shape of the story unfold, what she did when she thought no one was watching. I called a family counselor that afternoon. Asked about appointments. Told them we were considering separation but wanted to explore options. The woman on the line was kind, efficient. Said she could fit us in next week. "We don't need crisis to start," she said. "Just commitment to the conversation." "I'm ready," I said. It was true. Wednesday afternoon, I picked up the kids from my sister's. She kept them so I could rest after a long shift. I needed the space to think. When Ava climbed in the back seat, she said, "Daddy, Mommy's been taking more pictures lately." "Yeah," I said, buckling Miles in. "Yeah," she said, "but not of us. Of buildings. Rooftops. Like in that cloud folder." I didn't answer right away. Just watched the rearview mirror for a long moment. I knew what came next. Not the confrontation. Not the explosion. The conversation. The night I chose to talk to Tessa, I didn't tell her in advance. I just asked if we could have some time, just us. The kids were at my sister Dana's again, she offered before I even asked. She'd seen the look on my face lately. People notice things, even when you think you're keeping it together. We sat across from each other at the dining table. The same table we bought from IKEA 10 years ago. It still wobbled slightly at one end. Miles had colored on the underside with crayon. Ava once dropped a cup of red paint during a school project that never quite came out of the grain. That table had lived through all the quiet chapters. It felt right to let it witness this one too. I took a breath. No notes. No script. "I want to talk about Phoenix," I said. Her shoulders stiffened. She looked up from her phone, then slowly set it down, face down, of course. "Okay," she said. I kept my voice level. The hotel receipt forwarded to our shared email. 2 breakfasts. Both mornings. She said nothing. "And the wellness lunch in your calendar?" Heart emoji. "That popped up while you were supposedly in a meeting." The rooftop bar photo, Scottsdale, not anywhere near the conference. Your perfume. The new suitcase. The early airport sighting. Still nothing. Just her breathing. Shallow. Focused. Finally, she said, "You've been looking through my stuff." I shook my head once. Only the things we share. Shared calendar. Shared rideshare account. Shared email. You left the photo on the cloud. She closed her eyes. "Is it true?" I asked. I didn't raise my voice. "Is there someone else?" It took her a long time to speak. When she did, she didn't look at me. Yes. One word. Small, contained. But it sucked all the oxygen out of the room. "How long?" I asked. "Since May," she said. It started at that work offsite. It wasn't planned, I swear. I didn't go looking for anything. It just happened. I sat back a little. The room was very still. I could hear the refrigerator humming. What's his name? She hesitated. Connor. He's in marketing. Is it serious? I thought it was, she said, voice cracking slightly. But lately? I don't know. I nodded. Are you in love with him? She wiped at her eyes but didn't answer. That was an answer. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything or storm out. I just sat there, breathing through the metallic taste in my mouth. My chest felt tight, but not in the panicked way you see in movies. It was a slow compression, like the air was slowly being vacuumed from the room. I looked at her for a long moment. Then I said, I think we need to separate. For now. She nodded, as if she'd already considered that outcome. I don't want to disrupt the kids' lives more than we have to. Me neither, I said. They come first. We agreed, I'd stay in the house for the school week schedule, beds, lunches, routines. She'd stay with her sister a few nights a week, come back on weekends. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. No slamming doors. Just a quiet untangling of the life we built. That night, I slept in the guest room. It was too hot, too quiet. I stared at the ceiling, hearing every creak of the house like it had a voice now. Word got around quicker than I expected. By the following weekend, I got 3 separate, just checking in, texts from neighbors who never checked in before. One left a lasagna on the porch. Another offered the number of her divorce lawyer, in case you need someone who actually listens. Paul came by with takeout and didn't say anything until the kids were asleep. You good? He asked. No, I said, but I'm getting there. Some people started acting awkward, like betrayal was contagious. Others overshared about their own marriages like I was their emotional confessor now. I kept my answers neutral, we're taking some space. The kids are okay. Thanks for asking. Because honestly, I didn't want sympathy. I just wanted peace. We did our first counseling session the next week. It was quiet. Polite. Controlled. Tessa cried more than I expected. I mostly just answered questions. The counselor asked, what would make this situation feel survivable for you both? I said, clarity. Structure. And time. Tessa nodded. I want to do what's right. I know I've already failed at part of that. We scheduled another session. Afterward, in the parking lot, she asked, do you hate me? I looked at her for a second and said, no. I just can't trust you right now. She nodded, tears streaking her face. And then we got into separate cars and drove home in silence. We drafted the parenting schedule on a Sunday afternoon. Sat across from each other with laptops open, coffee cups half full, and a yellow legal pad between us. The tone was businesslike, but not cold. We both understood this wasn't about winning or punishing, it was about Ava and Miles. Keeping their world steady. We decided on a 60-40th split. The kids would stay primarily with me during the school week, homework routines, lunches packed, the comfort of consistency. Tessa would take them every other weekend, plus Thursday night dinners. We agreed to revisit things after 6 months, once the new normal had taken root. The court made it formal 2 months later. But by then, it already felt like law. Tessa got an apartment not far from the kids' school. A 2-bedroom walk-up with laminate floors and a tiny patio. Ava liked that the doorbell made a musical chime. Miles liked that the neighbor had a dog. They adjusted faster than I did. I started making pancakes on Tuesday mornings. Blueberry when I remembered to buy berries, plain with smiley faces when I didn't. Saturday library runs became our thing, followed by hot chocolate at the corner cafe. Evenings after homework turned into walks around the neighborhood, just us and the streetlights. These weren't grand gestures. Just small rituals. Anchors. Some days were harder than others. There were nights I'd fold their laundry and suddenly feel the grief come crashing in. This wasn't supposed to be the way it went. But then I'd hear Miles giggle from his room, or Ava humming to herself as she drew dragons in her sketchbook, and I'd remember what mattered. One night, out of nowhere, Ava asked, "Daddy, are you and Mommy still friends?" I thought about it for a second and said, "We're still a team. Just not on the same bench anymore." She seemed satisfied with that. I wasn't lying. It was a different kind of truth, one you learn how to live inside. Tessa ended the affair in late October. She didn't make a big announcement. Just quietly told me during a Sunday handoff, "It's over." He wasn't who I thought he was. I didn't ask questions. I didn't need details. She said he'd started becoming controlling. Asked to track her location, got irritated when she spent extra time with the kids. She said, it started with attention, but ended with surveillance. I just nodded. "Glad you're safe." She paused. "I don't expect you to forgive me." I didn't say anything. Because forgiveness isn't something you grant on a Sunday porch between diaper bags and lunchboxes. It's something that either happens slowly, or it doesn't. I focused on the kids. On structure. On Tuesday pancakes. Some friends drifted. Others drew closer. My mom started calling more, checking in without prying. My sister Dana became a rock. And Paul. He never once said, "I told you so." Just kept showing up, like always. The house changed in quiet ways. I rearranged the living room. Painted the guest room a soft green and moved back into it. Started listening to audiobooks while I cooked dinner. Rediscovered the peace in a clean garage. Tessa and I texted about school emails, dentist appointments, Ava's science fair. On good days, we could joke a little. On hard ones, we kept it brief. We respected each other's time. We both showed up for parent-teacher night and sat on opposite sides of the folding table. Civil, present. We weren't enemies. We were ex-partners who still shared the most important job in the world. One Friday night, months later, I was folding Miles' pajamas when I found an old photo tucked inside his drawer. It was from our beach trip 2 summers ago, Tessa, me, the kids covered in sand, laughing mid-moment. It didn't make me angry. It didn't even make me sad. Just, quiet. I sat on the edge of the bed and studied it for a while. We'd been happy then. That part was real. Some homes don't shatter, they just settle into a shape that finally holds. And if that shape is different than what you pictured on your wedding day, well. Life still moves. Kids still laugh. Pancakes still flip. And sometimes, clarity grows where chaos tried to take root. This wasn't the story I thought I'd be telling at 35. But it's mine now. And it's honest.